Get ready with me for a job interview with an EdTech company. I have been super excited about this interview for a while now, so I thought it would be time to share my very first EdTech interview experience and how I messed it up. Let's preface the story by saying that this interview was before I even told my administration that I was resigning, so I felt like I had to do it in secret. My dear friend and teaching partner at the time I told her that I had this interview and she was like, I got you, I'm going to cover your class, you can go to your interview and then just come back when you're done. So we did just that. I dropped off my kids with her. I think they're on the playground or even in the classroom. I don't even remember anymore, but she watched them for like an hour for me while I just did this interview, and I worked out a way to do this interview in the reading closet. It was a literal closet that I was hiding in to do this interview. I was so excited for this interview because it was my very first basically callback from a company that was outside of the classroom world. So I was super nervous but very excited. Granted, a lot of these nerves were coming from the sheer fact that I was hiding in the school closet trying to get this done without anyone noticing. And since I had been in the classroom for 10 years, this was actually my first interview, period, in 10 years, so it's just been a while. I had everything all set up in this reading room ready to go. Was definitely at least 15 or 20 minutes early, which is not enough for me usually, but since my friend was watching my class, I didn't want to be way too early, because who knows how long my kids were going to be good for while I was gone. The interview was going fairly smoothly. The girl I was interviewing with was super nice, friendly, easy to talk to. She definitely calmed my nerves, which was really nice because the second, the minute hit, I was engulfed in nerves. I think it really was just one of my first realizations that this was a decision I was making, and it was starting to become real. Up until then I had just been talking about it, so having an actual interview to leave the classroom was overwhelming in itself, let alone the circumstances I was doing it under. So the interview, like I said, was going really well, super easygoing, very easy, no stress, very fluid, and then she comes to the questions that she had for me. She asked the usual, why do you think you'd be a good fit for this role in this company, and blah, 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 which I actually feel like I nailed because I did an embarrassing amount of research on this company beforehand. And then she asked me what my biggest accomplishment was, and I completely froze. What I should have talked about is my success being featured on Ellen and how all of my online teaching was kind of exploding at that time and how proud I was of myself and blah, 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 but that's not what I did. Instead, I talked about the program that I was explaining originally in the interview about me creating something for the school and blah, 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 which is great, but it's not my greatest accomplishment. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't even want to mention Ellen or going viral and all of those things because I was not embarrassed by it, but I just have a hard time talking highly of myself. I don't know why, that's the thing, but it's always so hard to talk about yourself versus talking about things that you know about or others. It's so easy to talk about everybody else for some reason for me. So in hindsight, I feel like that question and the answer I gave really just blew that interview. I think it was a great interview. I feel like I had a really good chance, but I feel like if I answered that one question differently and how I wanted to, instead of just hiding my success and really amping myself up instead, I feel like I could have really nailed it and potentially even gotten the job. So moral of the story, don't be scared to talk highly of yourself. Don't be scared to talk about all of your amazing accomplishments. Think about what you are mostly excited about for your accomplishments, and don't be scared to talk. So wish me luck on this interview and crossing my fingers, hopefully I get it.